I know that you like big band music. That was,
Oh yeah,
but that was probably when you were a little
that was
older.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so, did you have any favorite songs or favorite kind of music? What kind of
Mm,
music did you listen
I
to?
like Stardust and stuff like that.
hmm And so, you guys had a radio, of course. Did you
Oh
have,
yeah, yeah.
and that was
We
your
used to
entertainment.
listen to the Lone Ranger. Yeah, that was like that Christmas show, the Lone Ranger and Ovaltine deal and Get Your Ring
And
and
the Shadow.
that Shadow. Yeah, yeah. And I think a soap opera was on then even.
I think
Oh,
so.
right.
And then they moved it, but I think there
Like
was
Guiding Light.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like
I think
that
it
was
was.
back then.
And there was others too, but there was one that still was going on way up into the yeah. But
So, did you have any pets?
oh yeah, I had Stinker,
And what kind of pet was that?
the dog,
Uh-huh.
and then I had a cat.
And how did you get Stinker?
He's just a puppy. I don't know how I got him, to tell you the truth. And then Pappy had a dog like Nutsy.
Oh, right. A rat terrier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so did you play with that dog too?
No, that dog didn't play.
He got kicked out of school because of recess. He didn't play.
He was Pappy's.
Pappy's dog, Strickland.
Oh, trailed him everywhere he went. When he went, Pappy laid down for a nap. The dog, you couldn't get even walk past him that he didn't growl at you. Yeah, they're very loyal.
Oh, they are.
They're
Yeah, they are.
extremely loyal.
You can
Yeah.
tell what they do.
Oh, I know. Whenever you leave, he or
Yeah,
she
they
goes,
get really, really attached. Of course, yours do too, but
she is a single person
yeah, and that's
devoted
how.
dog.
That's how I forgot his little name, but that's how he was too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Pappy go out and sit under that grapevine, and he was right there behind him. Yeah, when Pappy died, that dog died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he died 2 or 3 days later.
I'll be
He
darned.
grieved himself to death. He really did.
Unbelievable.
It doesn't seem possible, but he did. Yeah, he died soon after Daddy died. Yeah, soon after
Pappy died.
Pappy died. Well, nobody else could have.
Could have cared for it because it was
'cause-
so.
Well, he wouldn't eat
Right.
nothing, because Pappy fed him and everything,
So what happened to Stinker?
Oh, he just died. He was old.
But he lived.
Oh
and-
yeah,
and
he
had a good
he
life.
was my dog.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was black and white like the puppies.
Uh-huh.
And there's a picture of him.
I know. Of you holding him on the back porch. or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
Yeah, and somebody killed the cat. And that
Oh, really?
was beautiful, big old tiger cat, huge. Yeah, somebody poisoned him.
Unbelievable.
Meanness back then.
Yeah.
Right.
So what was your religion growing up?
I went to United Methodist.
Uh-huh.
United, UB or something.
Okay.
United Methodist.
Right. And what was that
I
like?
was baptized. It's the same as all of them.
Yeah.
Baptist.
But did you enjoy
Methodist.
it?
Oh yeah.
Have a circle of friends?
Yeah,
And,
not well in Sunday school,
Yeah.
but we never meshed outside of Sunday school.
uh-huh.
I had one, my friends were mainly right there on the street,
Yeah.
right there where we lived.
You don't remember
There was a
that?
bunch of kids, Russell, Irene, and Carl, and a bunch of kids
Now,
there.
Carl is the name of that uncle. That's Mabel's.
Oh, well, now that's another,
I know, but we were trying to remember his name. That's
Carl,
his name.
and what was Carl and Wanda, and what was
Oh,
the
right. Wanda was the
girl?
cousin.
What was the other one's name? Carl, Wanda, and Keith.
Keith, right. Do you remember the name of that church? It was United Methodist of Lebanon.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's where we got married, Daddy
Mhm.
and I.
A lot of these questions we've already kind of covered. So I'm going to skip down here. This is a really broad question, so this is just kind of like free form. Just think about it and spout off. But how's the world different today
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. It's a
I mean,
huge
yeah,
question
yeah.
than it was when you were a child.
Well, everything's different. So how can you even start explaining what's different? It's the whole. I mean, look at it's 60 years, 70 years later for me.
Right? Because you didn't have,
No television,
right?
no main big old cars, no.
What kind of car did you have?
I when I was little, of course, nobody had a car. But,
Okay.
uh,
So how did you
on
get
the-
how did you get around? Did you take the bus or
from when
streetcar?
yeah, bus and streetcar to go to work.
Uh-huh.
And streetcar when we went out.
Like when you went to the movies, you took the
Girlfriend and
streetcar?
I went to streetcar. And then when I met Daddy, he had this kind of car from the country club because that's where he worked.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we first got married, we got this car where, like I said, I had to sit on an orange crate.
That's when you first got married?
Yeah. And we lived in that apartment that Sonia and Leo gave up. That's why one of the reasons we got married because the apartment became available.
Now tell us who Sonia and Leo are.
Well, that's Daddy's sister and her husband.
Okay, so they had
They
an
had
apartment
the apartment, and then they bought that house.
in Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase.
Okay.
And then we.
How old were they when they bought that house in
they
Chevy
were
Chase?
young, but he's an FBI agent.
Gosh, that was a beautiful house.
Yeah.
And
At then though it was like $9,000.
Unbelievable.
And they got $400 for it when Sonia, when they
sold it.
Yeah.
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 Unbelievable, because that was a big house.
And plus the area. I mean,
Right.
Bethesda Naval's right there, and Bethesda Research is right there.
Right. Chevy Chase is
Yeah.
like one of the highest rent
And
districts.
you've been to Lillian's house.
Right.
That house sold. She bought that house from her mother for $10,000, and that sold for $200,000.
Yeah, and it was a tiny
house.
full house. I mean,
Tiny
it
house. A living room,
and two little bedrooms,
kitchen, and 2 bedrooms.
and a little bathroom in the middle of the 2
Yeah.
bedrooms. It was very tiny.
Yeah.
The kitchen was. Remember our house at Norris Lake?
Yeah,
The kitchen was maybe that big.
yeah. And then you
And you
went
ate-
up a little bit, and you ate there at the window over here.
In the kitchen.
Like a window seat.
Mhm. The yard was humongous.
Yeah, they had big dog runs out there.
But
for
the
dogs.
house was tiny. They finally did finish the upstairs, but it was so hot and
Yeah.
everything up there,
Right.
they couldn't. Did we sleep up there? No, I always
No,
slept
we-
in the spare bedroom.
You and
there.
I, when we would go visit, we'd sleep in the spare bedroom
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, right.
The deal.
Yeah, this bed. Now their bedroom, the first bedroom is
Was
pretty
nice.
good.
It was a nice
pretty
size.
good size,
Yeah.
and then the other one
The
was
spare
tiny.
bedroom was tiny.
Yeah.
So, other than Nanny and Pappy, tell us about your earliest recollection of your oldest relative. Like, did you meet Mabel's grandmother?
I was little.
Do you remember anything about that?
The only thing I remember is her sitting by the big old belly stove with a corn cob pipe in her mouth.
And what did she? I mean, what kind of?
She almost reminded me of Whistler's mother.
Yeah, and was she full blood Cherokee?
I don't know.
Wasn't she the one that was Cherokee?
On Pappy's side, yeah.
Uh huh. That's who
Yeah.
you're.
Yeah.
Referring
I
to?
never met Nanny's mother,
Uh huh.
so I don't know about her. But Pappy's family had brothers that lived near there, and he had. I don't think he had any sisters. I never met one of them. I
Right.
never met them. I did meet one of the brothers was First World War, and he was. Weren't they back then? They were gassed.
Well,
or
they had
something.
they were
Yeah,
shell shocked.
Yeah,
And it was
he had-
terrible disease.
yeah.
I mean, not terrible.
But they
situation.
raised a bunch of kids.
Really?
hmm And then the other one, nobody talked about him much, so I don't know. I think he was more or less a bum,
Oh, okay.
and so nobody.
So, Pappy's mother is the oldest relative you can
Yeah,
remember?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was, yeah.
What about,
To me, she looked old.
yeah.
She was old.
And George Strickler was your stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
And what about his family? Did you meet any
Yeah,
of
oh
his?
yeah. Heine.
Heine.
That's what Heine's his name.
Okay.
They call him Heine. Just like they call Papa when he played ball, they called him Heine.
Okay.
And that's German, you know.
Yeah, I hope.
And God, poor, what was her name? Gockley. Her maiden name was Gockley.
Gockley was whose maiden name?
George's mother's maiden name.
George's mother's maiden name.
Was Gockley.
Did you ever meet her?
Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one we used to go down to visit. And she baked. God, she could bake some chocolate cakes.
Really?
She's a good little old cook. Yeah.
And all
She
his
looked like-
family, or all his people were good to you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then there were Jerry and Jim. That's where the brothers.
Right.
Yeah. And Jerry was married to the Lillian that's
Right.
still up there.
Lillian's 100 now?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Jerry, he did he lose a leg from? I don't know, but he did. Anyhow, he did.
Yeah. He
And of
died, I
course,
guess.
Jerry, he's died a lot longer than Jerry did. And
Now, did
Jerry
Jerry
was-
die before George or after George?
after George.
After
Oh,
George.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, there was the three boys: Jerry, George, and Jim. That's what they. I've got three boys: Jerry, George, and Jim. You talk about that talking Dutch. Boy, they can rattle it off.
So, you went 11 years to high school. Or I'm sorry, 11 years,
Not quite.
4 years to high school, 11 years to school.
Yeah.
And then you graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you moved out of the house?
Yeah, I worked a little while and lived there, and then I couldn't handle the going that far to work. God, it took me so long.
When you
to
say
go.
work, what was your work?
I went to the patent office. I worked at the patent.
In downtown Washington, D.C.? And what was your job at the patent
I
office?
was the typist. We typed patents.
And you came there right out of high school. How did you get that job?
I looked in the paper
And you went and interviewed and did that. And then, so how long did you work there?
until I had Bobby.
Oh, really? Okay. So when you first started working there, you were single.
Yep.
And you had a roommate. You had an apartment or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about that and
On
your roommate.
Well, we had an apartment on C Street in Washington.
And what was that apartment like?
It was nice.
Uh-huh.
We had a one bedroom.
What do you remember? What the rent was?
It's 37. It was $75 a month. It cost each of us $37.50, and I made like $17.50 a week. So it took me 2 weeks
To make rent.
make rent.
Uh-huh.
And then we each put $5 in the kitty, and we go to the store, and we could buy 4 bags of groceries for $10. I mean, hamburger was like 50 cents, you know. And then 1 week I would cook, and Mary, what was her name? Mary.
That was your roommate?
Mm-hmm. She would do the dishes.
And how did you meet Mary?
I just looked in the paper again, and
uh-huh.
she needed a roommate, and I went down there.
And how did you guys get along?
We got along great.
Did
yeah.
you socialize together?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, movies.
Right.
We didn't really go bar hopping or anything back then.
Right.
I never did. She never did either.
Uh-huh.
We'd go to movies. Or,
Okay. Hold. I'm gonna stop this recording and we'll start another one.